So, quite some time ago, I picked up an Atari 2600, and it was sitting in the box, the original box, for a while, and I just finally got around to testing it. So I decided to pick up 3 iconic games and do a little video of them, and in a fit of creativity, which I say with sarcasm, I decided to call this The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And the 3 games are Pitfall, E.T., and Pac-Man, and I'll show you a little bit of gameplay with each of those in a moment. But like all my other videos, I always like to play on the actual hardware. You can see this is an Atari 2600 4-switch model, a later model, not a heavy sixer or even a light sixer. And I'm going to play it on this TV, and unfortunately the video is through RF, and sometimes the video is pretty lousy, so there's not much I can do about that. I know there's a S-Video mod for the 2600, but I haven't gone there yet. Now, I'm not going to talk about these games in terms of history or lore. Plenty of that to be found on the web, and I'll try to put some relevant links into the video, so if you're interested to find out more about these games. But Pitfall is apparently the second bestseller of the Atari 2600 library, and I would consider it probably the best game of the Atari 2600 library. So that being said, let me put it into the Atari 2600 and then turn on the monitor, and I'll go through a little bit of the game before I play it. And I'm playing with a Atari 2600 joystick. This is your health counter, I think, because as you hit obstacles, the number goes down. This is your life counter. There are 2, which means I have 2 lives left. As soon as I start the game, the countdown timer will begin. This is Pitfall Harry, and you have to move them from the left to the right, or from the right to the left, and go through the various screens. So this is probably an early example of a side-scroller game. So you can go up and down the ladders, and sometimes you have to go to the lower level to pass by insurmountable obstacles. You can jump over these obstacles. If you hit certain obstacles, your hit counter will go down. Some of them will kill you instantly. And that's the basic premise of the game. So you take your joystick, and as soon as I start moving, the game starts. Jump over the pit there, and if I hit the log, you'll see the hit point counter go down. So you gotta jump over the log. Which I'm not doing very well with. You have to jump on the alligators' heads, and if they open their mouth, you fall through. There is a spot you can stand on directly over their eyes, but if you're not on that spot and they open, you'll die. The snake will kill you instantly, and you gotta time this one so you don't fall into the pit like that. So, anyways, that's a short gameplay of Pitfall, the Good, probably the best game for the Atari 2600. Or I should say one of the original best. I know there are people who still develop for 2600. They do a lot of things. The bad is going to be this game. This is E.T., which is often cited as the catalyst for the great American video industry crash in the early 80s. Not going to discuss that. That's a very simplistic explanation. A lot of things going on. So basically plug this in. I never played this in a game, so I really don't know, back in the day I mean, so I really don't know how to play it. But there's a lot of things that are going on here which I don't know. Basically this is E.T. You gotta move around. Now one of the problems with this game was with collision detect. These things are pits, and collision detect was buggy. And as soon as you touch the pit, like this, as soon as your head or any body, part of your body touches the pit, you fall in the pit. Get out of the pit. And of course I've got to avoid this guy, because he'll capture me. And I'll fall into another pit. I mean, I don't know what the... I mean, look at that. This is frustrating. Let me get over. Now, why... Come on. Ah. All right. Well, I don't know what I'm doing, and it's one of those frustrating games. I don't know what to say. I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't know how to play the game or how to solve it or what the purpose is. Let me wait for this guy to catch me. Maybe he'll catch me and bring me to the lab. Oh, there's the lab. Get out of here. I mean, okay. So, that's the bad. And the ugly will be Pac-Man. And Pac-Man was probably one of the most popular arcade games in the 80s, and you would think Atari would have been able to make a port to the 2600 and do it right. You would think wrong. This is actually sad. This is apparently the top selling game of the 2600. But this is the ugly. If you've ever played Pac-Man in the arcade game and never saw the 2600, well, prepare to be appalled, because this is just hideous. There's no music. I mean, there's your Pac-Man, the ghosts flickering. Your power-ups are little blinking squares, and instead of dots, you gotta pick up these things. So let's play a little. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not a fun game. It's an ugly game. It's not a fun game. It's a bad port. So I would definitely call that the ugly. I mean, this is almost worse than E.T. in terms of things. The problem with E.T. is he had 5 weeks to program the game. There's no real excuse for that. So, without any further ado, that is what I would consider the good Pitfall, the bad E.T., and the ugly Pac-Man for the Atari 2600. Now, I know these are all arguable and debatable. Others will have their favorites, but this is mine. Okay? So thanks for watching.